Guess this is good.
It's good.
We're rolling.
It's a little Thanksgiving episode, which we haven't done anything in a very long time, which is weird. To me, it's weird.
Yeah.
Getting back into the swing of things, I guess.
Last time we recorded was in the beginning of May with Clear Path.
Was that our last one?
Wine Woodruff, yeah.
Wow.
Which his episode goes live tomorrow.
Yep. I can't wait for that to go live.
Oh, what are we going to talk about today? I don't know really where to even start. Our podcast is about overcoming adversity. It's one of the biggest things, and I think I realize how important that is. I've realized it before.
It's kind of interesting because with things that we've been through, that's like, of course, that's like what we chose to talk about, because I think a lot of people just want the light somewhere to like help them get through things.
Everybody's struggling, it seems like.
Right.
Everybody's going through something.
Everyone's got something going on.
And they say it's a fool's errand to compare adversity, but there's some people going through things that are a little bit, I don't want to say harder, but just different than other people. A lot of sick people, a lot of people with anxiety and the lack of purpose.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll start in July. This is going to be difficult, which is, it's fine. I don't care.
I think we wanted to focus on this today because Thanksgiving is, of course, the time of thanks, being thankful for everything.
Be grateful.
Yeah.
Lay down.
But also just being with family and people that you love and care about. And when, as many of us know or have experienced or are experiencing, a lot of people just aren't able to be with us.
Yeah. There's a lot of...
Sorry.
Life is fragile. Life is really fragile. And a lot of people, pretty much everybody that's watching this, at least locally, is going to know, like, we went through a tragedy that is kind of unheard of in July. I guess kind of relevant because not everybody that's going to see this is aware. But in July, my ex-wife, Natasha, got into a car accident, and she was killed on impact along with my 16-year-old son. And my daughter was airlifted to the ICU, where she had significant brain damage, and she ended up succumbing to her injuries in August 7th. And but what a lot of people don't know is things were going so good prior to that. For the first time in a long time, things were so hard for so long.
It's been, I think, a little bit of peace was shown in the 3 months prior to that day, those days. I know in a lot of our past episodes we've talked about how hard it has been the past almost, 2.5 years or so. It's been the hardest time in your life.
Yeah.
And then some peace was shown.
Yeah.
And given.
Thank God, because if things ended on a really, really bad note, this would have been a very different situation, and I don't know how we would have been able to mend but so many people would say things like, "You're so strong," or I could never make it through that, or something like that. But who?
Or I don't know how you're getting through daily life. Man. I don't know how you wake up in the morning. I don't know how you go to work. I
guess let's start off with that. What do we do to get through something like this?
Yeah, so when you wake up in the morning and you feel like you're in a mood where you're just very sad, and you're kind of in a dark place, what do you recognize first? What hits you the most, and then how do you...
I think that's down the road.
Okay.
I think that's, you got to get past, going through the traumatic event, because, there's those things that people don't think of. There's that first night coming home from the hospital where you're in shock and your world has been rocked.
Can we back up a little farther? So I don't know if people think about this, but it's like the accident happened and we lost Natasha and Tyler, and it's hard for you to grieve the next few weeks because we still have Kylie in the hospital.
We're still not, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the night of the accident, like
Okay.
we had when we went home from the hospital. You know, because we still had another little kid to, you know, that just lost his mom, brother, and sister,
And 3 dogs. His everything.
so it's like, you know, let's talk about those thoughts, those things that you wouldn't think of unless you're in this situation. Huh. Wow. Coming home from the hospital. Definitely not going to make this a cry fest, but, you know, try at least. But coming home from the hospital for the first time in the house where, you know, raised these kids, and you look at their empty beds. Man. Like, how do you process that? I don't know how I process that.
I think it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, no, it's weird because like I made it like what, 3 or 4 months now. And like, I'm like proud of myself. And like, I know we haven't overcome this. It's maybe just the beginning. Don't even know. But you look at those things, you look at your kids' blankets and like, you just everything. You look at your kid's toothbrush. But you got to be strong because you have another kid that's lost arguably more than you. And and like you said, couldn't even begin to grieve because our daughter was still in the hospital in the ICU. It's like, what does your mind do with that? Like, what does that do to your mind? How does that change you as a person? And the first couple days, I just remember like, didn't know what to do, and I was sober, not taking any anxiety or antidepressants or smoking or drinking, nothing. So all I did was run, and there's people that I know that judge me for that, and I just went running, and like, in and out of the ICU, visiting, and which we can get to in a minute, but like, how many of those runs was I like, I'm running like 7-8 miles a stretch and just
It's all you're thinking
aimlessly
about when you're running.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, just like,
It's like
crying while I'm running, and trying to entertain my son, do things with him as much as humanly possible and talk about everything. And just
showing him it's okay to feel his feelings and to be sad.
We did a lot of crying.
But to think about the good memories too and laugh about funny memories. But it's just having everything all together. It's like, it's okay to feel how you're feeling.
What was weird is we were able to laugh and have fun. Like, it wasn't, like, it wasn't like it was long after, but every time you just feel guilty. Like, how am I doing okay right now? But then again, I think your mind does this thing where it kind of goes into protective mode, and
Absolutely.
it legitimately like protects you from those feelings. Because there's points, it took a while before like I really allowed them to sink in, but I couldn't. Like, so when we went to the ICU, we had tons of friends and family and people reaching out, like, and the support was like second to none. It was out of this world. And going to the ICU, and then right off the bat, I want to talk about that. I won't name her name, but there was a lady that was in the ICU, in the waiting room who her son was also in a car accident. He was older, he was 28. And she heard about the accident. Now she only knew about my daughter, and she comes up to me with her, she's from Sudan, and she comes up to me and she's like, I heard about your daughter, and I just want to, tell you I'll pray for her. She didn't ask me what religion I am. She didn't care. It was like the empathy that I felt from that lady meant more than 1,000 text messages from people I love and care about. And it was weird. And like, she hugged me.
Because it was so real, because she didn't know anything, and she just, you could see it in her
Not
face.
that it wasn't real from
No,
people.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But it's just, she was a stranger. Didn't know us at all. Didn't know the situation, and she just wanted to pray for her family, and she hugged us, and it was so loving. And every day we went to the hospital, like,
We saw her, and like she would ask us how Kylie's doing, and we'd ask her how her son's doing. And but that first night though, when she was already like, she felt so bad and that empathy, then we told her, like, Bradley was right next to me. And Bradley said to her, Bradley's like, we'll pray for your son too. And I think we told her, I don't remember if I said something or Bradley did. I'm like, yeah, I also lost my other son. He was killed on impact, and my ex-wife, and she was just broken. And but I remember I remember going to the hospital, and this feeling of like, just every time going in there, just like a part of me died. And like, that's something that nobody's going to feel the same way of what it looks like when you see somebody, for people out there that have seen their significant other or their kids or somebody, their mom or their dad, and they're not conscious and they're laying in a hospital bed, fighting for their life. That is, I've never been in that situation before with anybody my entire life, ever. And
me too.
like, remember like talking to her, because they say they can hear you, and like talking to her for the first time, man. And praying, and just, playing, music, and just trying to.
Speaking of memories, and just telling her how much we love her, and holding her hand.
I can remember holding her hand.
I know.
Oh man. This isn't all going to be depressing. We just got to get through this.
I just want to say though, like, we want to speak of this first because we're so thankful for the memories.
Oh my gosh, man. And that was like, we did so much with the kids.
Yeah, I know. All the time. Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of times we'd be like, let's go to the park, or let's go, to Green Lakes or wherever, and walk around. And sometimes they'd be like, oh, but then they would have a blast and had so much fun, and would take the pictures, and we would have the memories. And that's like a thing. It's like, make those memories, go do things, with your family, friends.
Yeah. And I wanted to talk about the honor walk, because my daughter was a organ donor, which I remember when I took her to get her permit. I remember having the conversation with her, and it was like, she didn't think about it at all. She's like, yeah. She's like, what am I going to do with them? If something happens to me.
Yeah.
And she did. She had five of her organs that were donated to people, and either saved them or improved their quality of life dramatically, along with other stuff. And that was Kylie. She wanted to help people, and so the honor walk, that was something I didn't know what to expect.
I mean, I've never went through anything like that before either, so I didn't really know what to.
For those of you who don't know what honor walk is, so the doctors pretty much told us, like, hey, they went over her brain, her MRI results, and it's not good. And like, if we keep on life support, it's just there's essentially no hope, is what they told us. So the decision is to pull life support. And so they unhook her from where she is in the ICU, and they walk her into the OR. and they pull life support. And I had an idea of what that's going to be like, but until you experience it, like,
Again, I don't think people realize like the whole timeline of everything. It's not just there was an accident and that was it.
yeah,
There was so much in it, in the whole
yeah.
chunk of time. There was so much in there.
We go into a room in the OR and they play music of your choice, and you hold their hand and they unplug the life support and you wait for her to pass. And I hope nobody ever has to go through that. But man, like the signs. I never was super into like signs and seeing things. I believe when you're open to signs, you're gonna see things that you never saw before. And whether it's me running and seeing a bald eagle, the second I start thinking of my son, or or seeing butterflies, Kylie,
Her
butterfly tattoo on her hand, and
songs or
but the people,
the sun dogs.
yeah.
And,
Oh my
like,
gosh, that
I
time we're
can't
coming
even,
back from camp, like
dude,
sun
I know.
dogs are relatively rare, and we're coming back from our camp, and we saw like 5, almost like
Yeah, but it's like
consecutively.
like I was like, hey, there's a sun dog, and you're like, what? Where is it? Where's that? You didn't see it. And I'm like, and then there was another one.
Sun dog's
and
a
it's
short
like,
rainbow for people that don't know.
It's like a blob of rainbow in the sky.
Not like a whole
Right.
U. It's just a short piece of one.
And that was
And-
mine and Kylie's thing. Like
Yeah.
we always saw them together, or if I saw them, I would send her photos and stuff of them all the time. And it's like, you didn't see that one. So I
Cool.
felt like Kylie's like, oh, he didn't see it. I'll give you another one. You're going to see this one. And
Yeah.
there was another. And it's just like,
And I going all over the place. I'm gonna get stuck on tangents throughout this, like I
okay.
always do. But I had a conversation with my son about like giving a younger version of yourself advice. If you could go back at a certain point in your life, where would you choose, and what advice would you give yourself? Which he didn't really understand what I was trying to imply, but so I got thinking about that, and I'm like, man, if I could give myself advice, what point in time would I think about?
yeah.
And I'm like, immediately I know. Like, I remember when I thought things were like so hard, like about 3 years ago, and I thought they couldn't get worse. They couldn't get harder. And I'm like, man, if I could go to give myself advice, Brad he's like, well, I'll tell myself what's going to happen. I'm like, it might not be a good idea. He's like, well, then I could prevent what happens. And I'm like, no, that's not what I mean. I'm just saying,
Right,
if you could give yourself advice, it's not going to change anything what you go through, but advice.
Maybe
to
how
help-
you handle things,
Yeah.
maybe, or
And I'm like, man, and I thought about what I would say to myself, which I could say to everybody in the entire world.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I remember it was like 2 months of a really hard 2 months. And I'm like, I don't know how long I can go through this. And I wasn't suicidal, but I was
Right.
like, I can't tolerate this for very long. And I would tell myself, like, hey, listen, like, first of all, be grateful for every day. Be confident in what you're doing. You just keep doing the right thing no matter what. It's going to seem so hard, and not to scare you, but you're going to go through things that are going to be so much harder than you could ever even imagine. However, you're strong enough to make it through it. You have everything you need. You have everything you need to make it through it. And don't stop praying. Just don't lose faith in God. Whatever you do, no matter how hard things get, just keep going. Don't stop running.
hitting the heavy bag.
Keep telling your wife you love her. Keep kissing her. Keep cherishing her, because it's not always easy when you're feeling numb. Oh,
I think,
tell your kids you love them, and keep soaking those moments.
yeah, and it is hard because even if you recognize, and this is for me personally, I recognize so often that I'm trying to soak in a moment, and I feel like I've said it before, I cannot soak it in enough. you know, and it's like talking about taking things for granted. We're human and we're all going to take things for granted, but I think it's a next step to not just take things for granted, but like when you recognize that, it's a little different and it's more of like a grateful thing, I guess. Like being grateful for little things and noticing
what would
them.
you tell yourself? What would you tell yourself, and when would you tell yourself something?
You're stronger than
No. When in your life would you go back to tell yourself? If you could give yourself a piece of paper with a letter, and what would you say?
Probably during my hard time in my life, the whole time, I would say, you will get through this and you're stronger than you think because of this man up there, you know, because I did a lot of praying. I prayed so much and so hard and not to just throw it in everyone's face, but like that is where my strength came from. And that's how I got through, because I didn't just get through my hard time by myself.
Yeah.
Even though I was by myself, you know, of course I had a lot of support from my family and from friends, you know, but it's different.
Yeah. I think about all the time, like, I wonder what it does to us. Like, I never thought of this. I never thought of this till going through it. You know, maybe I thought about other people having to deal with like Facebook memories of people they lost, or it's like we see memories of Samus, our other dog that died a year and a half ago. And like, we took a lot of pictures of our dog. We take a lot of pictures of everything.
Yeah.
And so many pictures of the kids, so many pictures of like just beautiful memories. And it's like, I wonder if are they overall good, or are they counterintuitive to your ability to be able to process grief? Like, I think they're good. I'd rather have them than not have them, but it's like, what does that do to you where you're able to scroll through photos and hear video upon video upon video? Like, what does that do to somebody?
It's almost like some memories your mind might store back in the dark places of your mind so you don't think of them, to not make things harder.
I have horrible memory.
So it's like if you look at those memories that are popping up on your Facebook or whatever, is that making it harder?
Yeah.
If your brain's trying to go in survival mode and help you cope with things, I don't know.
Yeah. You know, for whatever reason, I think about all the time. I think about my last like adventure. Actually, no, my second to last adventure. I'll tell two little stories. So, I've always been pretty spontaneous. Don't do a lot of planning. And but when I do, it's like last second. Let's do this. We're doing it. And Tyler and I decided to go hike Mount Marcy, which for people that don't know is the highest mountain in New York State. It's like I think it's like a 14-mile hike if you go in and out from the Marcy Dam side. But if you go down the back side and do a loop, which is better because you're getting new scenery all the way around, it was like an 18 or 19-mile hike.
That's so crazy. Yeah.
So Tyler and I drove up to Mount Marcy with Arrow, and
the weather was kind of crappy, wasn't it?
No. It was
it wasn't?
It was perfect. It was
I thought it was. No, I thought like when you were driving up, it was like wintry and like stuff like that.
To hike?
No, when you were wasn't that when you were looking for the hotel room?
No, that was to go skiing.
Oh, okay, that's different. Okay.
I didn't hike in the winter up there. I'd die. Anyway.
You probably would.
Don't listen to her. So we drove up there, and we went to the Adirondack Hotel to eat, and it was just like, it was such a perfect day. And like, you know, I was at a point where I've been through a lot at this point. You know, we were doing the podcast and stuff, and so I took more pictures than I ever had, more video, and like Tyler didn't seem annoyed. Like he almost like, I think he was taking pictures and stuff, and he was so appreciative of everything. And I remember being at the Adirondack Hotel, and this freaking dummy locked us out of the truck. As soon as we get out of the truck to go inside to go eat, you know, and it wasn't hot out, so I cracked the windows. It wasn't like leave my dog in the truck, and it was 80 degrees. No, it was kind of cool out. And luckily, Ray, as we're like, what are we gonna do? Because I did have the window cracked a little bit. a guy pulled up next to us, a couple guys, and they were electricians, so they had a bunch of like really rigid wire, so I was able to pretty much immediately get the truck unlocked, which was good.
No, she was like, "You're gonna leave me in the truck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lock you out."
So we had an incredible dinner, and I remember across the street, and again, I don't have a good memory, but when things are burned into my memory, across the street there were some seaplanes that were parked, and I remember taking pictures of like this angle of the seaplanes out in the water and the flowers, and it was beautiful. It's just so beautiful.
And I picture the feeling of just peace, like when you talk about that, like just happiness and peaceful.
Yeah. We parked at the bottom of Mount Marcy, and we did what you're not supposed to do. We threw a tent in the back of the truck and slept in the parking lot, which says no overnight camping, and I apologize. I shouldn't have done that. However, we slept underneath the stars. There was no rain, and I remember taking a picture of like looking up and I remember like I'm laying there with my dog and my son, and I'm like, this is like the most perfect peak moment of life, I like to say.
Yeah.
And
so you like,
what's that? I remember wow. Holy freaking flashback. I threw coffee in a so Whew. It's weird. The thought of the coffee just like brought me back to that moment. Oh, it's weird.
it's okay.
Anyway, we got up. Wow. No, it's like I'm there. So we get out of the truck, left the tent in the back of the truck, and I remember taking a selfie with Tyler right there, and we were eating an apple, and we had warm coffee that I put in like this brain fart Yeti, so it kept it warm all night. So we had warm coffee in the morning, and we were already right there, so it's not like we had to drive anywhere then go hike. So it was like 6:30 in the morning, and it was like perfect out. And we started hiking, and I remember talking the whole way, and Tyler's talking about Elden Ring. It's a video game on PS5 that he just loved, and I loved. I played through it first, and then he played through it, and so we're talking about that, and I'm taking pictures and videos, and may or may not have took drone footage, which again I don't think you're supposed to in the state park, but anyway. And boy, I remember having a conversation with him. I remember like, hey Tyler, what's the best part of the hike, you think? If you were to pick one thing, what do you think's gonna be the absolute best part of this hike? And he said what I expect him to say. He's like, oh, the summit. I'm like, no, it's the journey, dude. It's the hard work we're putting in right now. It's the steep parts. It's the the leisure when you get to relax. It's like you think you enjoy that, but it's like I'm like, and like being here with you, and we were like, he was a lovey kid.
Yeah.
He always would hug me anytime he could and stuff. And
Yeah.
Made it to the summit. We took some incredible footage and videos, and he was proud of himself, which was cool. And we go down the back side, which was important to us because I wanted him to see Avalanche Pass. Avalanche Pass is
definitely
freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
You currently can't go there. I guess an avalanche took out the
Really?
bridge. Yeah. I'll have to put
man.
footage or some photos in this
Oh, for
episode.
sure. Yeah.
So, that was essentially
Good memory.
the summary of that hike. And then this spring, this year, we went to Whiteface. That's what you were thinking of.
That's what I was thinking of.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll
man.
not forget that.
Didn't plan,
I wasn't there, but
didn't plan anything. And it was like a 3.5 hour drive after I got out of work. So by the time we get to Lake Placid area, and people don't know, it's like a big hockey area, and like it's pretty popular. I didn't get a hotel until, I was get one when we get up there. So we come home, get all the ski stuff loaded into the truck, drive up there, exhausted. Didn't take into consideration how tired we'd be.
Yeah.
I would be. I was miserable. I was in such a bad mood trying to find a hotel.
Maybe a
Nothing was
little bit.
available. And I remember calling her and I was yelling at her. And
Yep.
like, I told her, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm frustrated as hell right now. I'm just exhausted. I just want to pull over and sleep. And
You're like, find me a hotel. And I'm like, okay, I'm not there, but okay, I'll
I'm
try.
pretty sure I'm like, you please fucking just help me. And just don't get mad at me being frustrated right now. And then we ended up finding this hotel. I think it was the Crown Lodge or something like that. And it was like $450 a night. And I was like, whatever, I don't even care. And I wouldn't have minded paying that much. Now I'm happy I did, hindsight 2020, but I wouldn't have minded paying that much if it was like we're gonna go hang out there for the night and then like wake up in the morning, sleep in a little bit and go skiing. No, we literally used the bed, showered, used the bed and like left. But now it's like, I remember waking up in that morning, looking out the sliding glass door and you could see the mountains and the snow and it was freaking beautiful.
I bet, yeah.
And Tyler thought it was pretty cool. So we skied Whiteface that day and had an amazing trip. And immediately you got to think of a story that you want to tell one of the kids. But I got one.
Okay.
I just want to talk about going. I went skiing with Kylie. This would have been 2 years ago. I took her to Gore Mountain for her birthday 3 years ago.
It had to have been 3 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. So I took her to Gore Mountain for her birthday. And I remember, she was irritating the hell out of me. She was skiing way too fast with like...
No fear?
No fear at all. Like, I'm like, for where her skill was at, and she wasn't bad, I'm not saying that, but for where her skill was at, she was going too fast. And like, there's no way she could stop in time because it wasn't, she only would snowplow. She wouldn't really like slide sideways where you can stop immediately.
Yeah, I can't do that either.
And it's exhausting when you snowplow, especially when you're going fast, it wears your legs right out. These are recording. So, and then there was this one point I kept yelling at her, I'm like, Kylie, you need to stop doing that. You need to stop doing that. And she's complaining about her legs hurt. And I'm like, of course she wouldn't listen to me because Kylie. And in this one point where these two trails intersect, she just flew out into pretty much an intersection going probably 30, 40 miles an hour, almost hit somebody. She ends up falling. She didn't get hurt or anything, but I'm just like, Kylie.
Yeah.
But, and then I remember, wow, I haven't thought of this memory. And since we went, I wanted to take her to a nice place to eat for her birthday. I wanted it to be special. And I find this place on Google and it had really good reviews. And I get there and it like, from the outside, not to be mean, it just didn't look nice.
You would have driven by.
Oh yeah, no, it looked like a low scale diner. And I don't mean to be judgmental. I wanted to take her to a nice place for her birthday. But we go there and like, it was definitely like the most home cooked meal you could possibly have. Don't remember what we ate. However, I just remember like, the lady that worked there was this little old lady and she was so sweet. And I remember like, I always try to be pretty generous tipping. I remember like tipping her and she was so appreciative. And like Kylie, like, I wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah.
And,
yep.
It was a good day. That was
couple memories.
That was pretty much it. Yeah. Oh, I could go
There's
all day
so
long.
many little and big memories, but one memory I have, which is kind of cool, is when we were at camp and we had the boat there, and I think it was the first time Tyler and I both tried to wakeboard, right? And we both made it up the first time we did it.
Yeah.
Both of us. And that was really, really cool. And he was like super proud, It was just fun and, a special place. And then, of course, for one of Kylie's birthdays, I brought her rollerblading.
Yeah.
And she was awful. But it was like, she had so much fun though. And I think she was scared because it was just something new, I guess, that she didn't really ever do.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, she didn't, maybe she fell a couple times, but she was fine. And that's what we do. It was really special. And then, because it was just her and I.
Yeah.
No one else was there. And then we went and got sushi. And
I always remember her asking you to braid her hair.
Always. And of course, always I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like I wanted her to ask me to do that.
Yeah. That's for sure. There's one thing I know is they wouldn't want us to be broken because of this. And this, and I want people to know, like, I think like the biggest takeaway from something like this, and again, I know we're not done navigating this. Like, it's
Probably not even close.
no, but so many people use what happens to them in life as an excuse to do bad things, whether it's
Yeah.
drugs, alcohol, the way you treat other people. And like, you can be bitter. Like, you know, if I were bitter and I went down a path of just negativity and drinking myself into a coma, like, I think most people would be like, don't blame him. But I feel like there's some people that I know there's some people that have questioned the way we are, quote unquote, handling this. And I
But those people are people that have not gone through anything nearly even remotely close to
Yeah.
anything that we are going through or have been through.
I mean, even if they have went through worse things than us, like, why? Like, I would think that'd be all the more reason to, like, why would you judge how somebody handles extreme tragedy? Like, unless they're doing things to hurt other people,
Very
or something
destructive
like that.
or right.
But like, if I'm putting out there, like, hey, like, you know, just keep going, man. Just life's tough. Life's gonna be hard. The harder it kicks you down, I think the stronger you can be. I think it's a literal choice.
Right.
And
Yeah. I mean, it is. Everything you do daily, on a daily basis, is a choice. It's your
Yeah.
choice, what you do. And it's not necessarily your choice on how you feel, but it's how you, when you're feeling how you're feeling, it's what you do with it.
yeah.
Anything.
Oh man, you know, and like, you know, then we had the funeral, and like, when I say the support, like the support from, you know, even the funeral home, shout out to Nunn and Harper,
Yeah.
the funeral director Jamie was
Absolutely amazing.
words can't explain.
He just made you feel like you were his best friend, and he's just trying to help you and
It was
love
just,
you.
his
and,
empathy
like,
was real. It was
Right, yeah.
100% like,
yeah.
just a good guy. And I mean, I almost feel like we shouldn't do any shout outs to anybody, because like, there's been so many people, you know, I don't want to not
No.
mention any one type of thing. And I know it
Just
doesn't.
everyone, we love you all. Like, I don't think there's anything I could ever say or do to show anyone how thankful that we are.
Well, something,
It makes me like want to cry.
you know, and I want to say, like, if you're going through it right now, and I don't know, there's people going through so many things. If you're going through something where you're broken, you're feeling hopeless, you feel like there is no coming out of, like, just remember, like, there is going to be a sunny day. If you got to believe that, and take steps towards it.
It can't rain all the time.
It can't. And I know,
And what do I say? After the rain, there's what? Maybe not after. It has to be kind of during, I guess, ish. Rainbows. You can't have rainbows without the rain.
I didn't know. I'm like, you're like, what do I
like,
say? I'm like, I don't know what you say.
I say it all the time. You know that.
Actually didn't.
Yes, you do.
I've heard you say that, but it didn't come to my mind. Oh man. So,
But
it's like, what's
it's
next? You know,
no,
like,
you can't have any light without the dark.
yeah, no, and I've said that, and I listened to that, and I think going through something that's tragic, there's silver lining.
Right.
And
So
I almost feel guilty saying there's silver lining. Like, I'm more grateful for every day, every breath.
So that's the thing, though. Like, I wanted to tell people, like, how we always, since this tragedy, we're like, because of our friend Miles, of course, also, that went through the worst thing someone could go through, there's going to be more good that comes out of this. Like, there has to be, and there is, and we believe that.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because Miles was on our podcast back in January. We recorded in January. I think we aired it like in February. But Miles, seeing his strength, what he went through, losing his wife, and you know, he's got a beautiful family, and I remember, like, because when he came to church and he told everyone, like, hey, you know, my wife was diagnosed with aggressive cancer, and like, it, you know, insinuated, you know, I forgot what he said, but you know, it wasn't good. I just remember, like, it shook the fabric of my existence. It scared the living hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she passed away, and I saw him, and I just was like, this guy's strong. Like
Like,
that's
how
an
is he so
understatement.
strong?
Like,
You know?
and and his kids, like they look strong, and and I
Yeah.
think that was a major thing that's really helped. That was a major thing that's helped our family, is seeing somebody else. Like Terry Tucker said, he's like, you have no idea how many people are watching how you handle your adversity.
Yeah.
And regardless of what you're going through, there is somebody out there that would do anything to live 5 minutes in your shoes. And if you remember that, like, like that's
Yeah.
huge.
It's like, if you're going through your life and you're trying to do the best that you can, think about people that are watching your journey, whether you have a podcast or not, just people watching you, how you're handling things,
Yeah.
and you're giving people hope. Maybe that'll help you maybe even try to do even a little bit better, because people are watching you for motivation to do better.
Yeah. It's weird because, like, talking to other people and hearing how what we've put out in the past few months, and like hearing somebody say, hey, I've been going through a really dark time, and it's your positivity has really helped me, it's so healing for me. Like,
Yeah.
it is I don't know if that's like an arrogant thing to say in a way, like almost like
It's not.
but not like we're doing it for the self gain or the benefit of that, but
Yeah, but helping people gives you this feeling of purpose.
yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, we're on this earth to love and care for each other. And half this earth doesn't. So if we can
Yeah.
all try a little bit more to be like that, I mean, we all need love. We
Yeah.
all need people caring about us, especially when we're going through hard times.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk about something else that's, like that I brought up to you, and I did the comparison to Alzheimer's with, like, the situation, like with Mac's wife Natasha and stuff. And like, before my grandpa passed away, he had Alzheimer's for a few years, and it was hard. It was a hard few years, and I was young, but I really had a hard time remembering the good times, and I only could really remember the bad times.
Right.
And the last few years were, rough. There's a lot of animosity, but like it cleared up at the end immensely, and like things were,
Yeah.
like civil, and I remember waking up. It was like 2 months after the accident, so last month. I remember waking up and just like being, holy crap! Like, I'd never grieved over losing her, and it's a weird
Right.
thing. And I felt weird talking to you about it. Like, I didn't know how to bring that up to you, but
Yeah.
and I, like I said, I remember saying to you, like, we were together 14 years, and had 3 kids together, and like had a whole history, and
Right.
and like there's a lot of good memories, and
I think that would happen with anybody that was with someone that had a life prior to like their other life,
Yeah.
maybe with like a new wife or husband. Of course, hopefully with people, there is, even if you had bad times, there were good times too.
yeah,
And that's kind of like, the grieving part is, you had memories, people had kids together, and when all of that is ripped out, it's like, it doesn't feel real, maybe.
yeah. And
So
if you
it's
hold
like,
on to hate, and like that's somebody said it. That's like making a poison for somebody else to hurt somebody
Yeah,
else, and
yeah, yeah.
drinking it yourself, hoping that it hurts
I
them.
think today, did you have me watch or listen to something today about that?
I don't know where
because-
we heard that.
Yeah.
It was like yesterday, I feel like, but
But
yeah.
it's so true. It is so
Yeah.
true. And that's where forgiveness comes in.
Yeah.
That's a forgiveness. It's a very hard thing for people to understand, because they think when they forgive someone, it's, I forgive what you did, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't make what they did okay. It's letting it go and praying for the people that they can heal and, heal and be happy, because they're still here interacting with other people.
I've said, how many times in the last year did I say the best case scenario is everybody doing better? And like that applies to everything. It doesn't apply to our situation necessarily. It's like,
Right.
like if you can think of somebody that's wronged you, or if you, or maybe they haven't wronged you, or like if you had disagreements with, like,
Yeah.
instead of wishing bad upon somebody, like
Yeah.
Like, what good is being bitter and being like, oh, they screwed me over, screw them, I hope they, like, it doesn't do any good. Then they may be hurting other people than you and vice versa. And it's just, I don't know, there's so much negativity.
But people that are, and we've talked about this a million times, that are hateful and mean to other people, it's because they're not happy. So why wouldn't people just want everyone just to be happy and be nice and caring for each other? Even if you have differences of opinions or whatever, like, hope people can heal and grow.
Yeah.
Growth hurts. Moving on can hurt. But it's necessary in life.
It is.
Yeah.
So when you are, to back up in the beginning of this whole entire conversation, when you're feeling something that's hurting you or memories, say you wake up in the morning and you're having a hard morning.
Oh, do you know how many mornings?
I know.
Do you know how many mornings, like especially when I go back to work. I took 2.5 months off, go back to work. I'd sit in my truck and I would have my phone out, because like, I know everybody's understanding. I mean, this is bad, but I'm like, no, I'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And, and there's been a lot of hard mornings.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of hard moments, and I kept pictures up. I've had pictures of my kids all around my desk, and I have pictures in my truck of my kids, and I added more since. And
as you should.
Yeah, because that was an agreement that we made early on. Like, we're not going to stop talking about them. We're not going to stop thinking about them.
Yep.
Got 1,000 pictures over there of Kylie and Tyler, and like,
when we're working out, we're like,
it should be motivation. Like, I want to live more because of them. Like, I want to be better because of them. Like, I want to, and like, for the longest time when we started this podcast, because it was kind of goofy and random, and like, we didn't know what we were doing. We still don't, but I was worried about the kids being embarrassed, and I'm like, you know what? Like, after we started like kind of doing some cool things, I'm like, maybe they'll be proud. And the thought of them being proud, really, like, I really wanted that so bad.
Right. Yeah, I know.
I wanted the kids to,
or even if they watched anything, if they even did, take a little bit away.
Yeah, even if we're like way older and like, like what I would pay to have a video recording of like my parents or something like that, talking about life when they're younger.
Yeah, just for real.
Especially if they navigated some pretty significant things.
Yeah.
But.
So how, all right, when you're sitting in your truck and you're having a really hard time and you have your phone out and you're like, I want to call this person, but I don't want to bother them. It's really early.
Oh, I rotate through them.
I know you do. But like, when you have to make it to work on time, but you're still feeling in a funk, like, do you normally call people every morning when you're feeling like that? Or do you just kind of drive to work and then?
I'd listen to positive, corny, inspirational stuff, or, nice music, or I'd pray, or.
There's a lot of people going through stuff right now.
Yeah.
Or always, not just right now, all the time going through things. So it's like, if they're feeling like that, they get up in the morning
it's easy to feel bad for yourself. Like, I take a step back often. I try to do this all the time in life, and not even regarding this hardship or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, I have found there's been a lot of times over the past few months where I feel genuinely really bad for myself. Like, and I, not saying it's bad. It's just it's a weird thought, but what?
No, I was just thinking, like, it's weird because like the last 2 months or so, I've been thinking a lot about my life timeline and all the crap I've been through. And at times I'm like, wow, like, I've actually been through a lot, traumatizing things. And
it looks like he's having a seizure. What, do you fart?
He's running. It looks like he's running.
He was literally running. Aww.
I think he was running in a dream. We chasing that squirrel he saw yesterday. Yeah. But like, and it is weird with you saying that. Like, I've been thinking of my life and all the stuff I've been through. What?
Keep going.
At times I'm like, wow, I feel really bad for myself. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not a victim. I'm going through stuff in my life to strengthen myself for
That's-
a reason.
Yeah, and so
And
many
it's
people get
okay.
bitter. You can't be bitter. I mean,
No.
you can. You
yeah.
can. Anyone can be bitter, but like there are things you can do to better yourself. And I think when it comes to grief, if you're going through hard times, I think I talked to somebody that was not supposed to be, absolutely renowned traumatic loss individual expert. And he said, the first thing he asked about sleep. He said, sleep is number one. You got to make sure you're sleeping.
I like that.
I know you do.
When you said that, I was like,
Sleep, you got to eat right. You can't eat like shit, and you
Yeah.
got to eat. Like there was a point, so
Oh,
I dropped
okay.
I dropped some weight, but I was also running a lot and working out a lot, and it wasn't bad weight. There was a lot of people that said,
I know,
I'm getting caught on a tangent.
Don't just stop. Okay,
No,
what
'cause I
did
wanna
this guy
mention-
say?
okay.
What did this guy
The
say?
third, so it was sleep, diet, and then exercise. He
Okay.
said, because you like sweating, getting that is a cortisol
Yeah.
out of your system. It's
Yep.
it's incredibly important and good for you. And then the fourth thing was something like either yoga, meditation, something.
okay.
And he said a lot of people will find, and if they're really doing yoga right, and they would find like mid move, they'd find themselves start crying, and that's
Really?
true grieving. That's true emotion coming out of you from where it needs
So
to
that's
come out.
new because I didn't know. Well, new for me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the fifth thing is don't be a recluse. Don't
That's got to
you
be
need to
hard
socialize
for
and
people.
talk to people, and but I found you got to make the moves where like I had like I say checklist. I didn't have a little checklist, but I said from the day of the accident, I'm like this is I said it to my son. I'm like this is gonna do one of two things. This is gonna break us or it's gonna make us, and there's no
Yeah.
in between. And when I saw myself drop sub 200 pounds. I was 198 for the first time in my adult life ever. And I was like, and all I could think is there's a handful of people to be like, oh, Matt, you look skinny. And I'm like,
I know.
man, I'm in the best shape of my life. I feel fit. Like I got borderline abs and and it wasn't like a thin thing. Like I was, stronger than I've ever been. I was so proud of myself. Then to have somebody say something you like,
I know.
oh, you don't want to keep losing weight or you look thin. And it's like, they don't know what they like. Think about
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Like I put thousands of miles and hundreds and hundreds of hours
Yeah.
into working on my physical fitness, and it's not to look good. It's truly not. It's more for a mental state.
I know.
The looking, like the aesthetic
Bonus.
aspect, is
Yeah.
a bonus.
Right.
And but as somebody that has dealt with like severe imposter syndrome and being insecure most of his life, I was like, for the first time in my life, I'm fucking proud of myself. I'm running like 40 miles a week, doing 3, 4, almost 500 push-ups in a single session of running. Like that's pretty cool.
Very
And
cool.
I don't know, like people don't realize that, but at the same time, like how many people that would, like so many people kind of
So everyone knows what they see. They're like, okay, this guy went from this to this. They don't know the meat of it.
yeah.
They know the top bun and the bottom bun. They don't know the meat of it. So it's like, wow, you look really, what? Sorry, that's my elementary thing. They don't see your hard work. They don't see your hours. They maybe judge you on the the way you look is so different to them, especially from, say, your whole life you've been a certain way, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you just lost all this weight, you're doing all this running, this is
But
not
it was
Matt.
long before
But
the accident too.
no, it was.
I've been pushing for like probably a year or so, and then 2 months prior to the accident really turned up the dial, and I'm like,
Yeah, but when people see such a change is scary to people, even though it's not affecting them personally.
Yeah.
It's still, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Because they expect you to be a certain way. So when it's not like that, they're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I do. I was gonna say something. It's freaking gone. It was really important.
It's okay.
Do that 1,000 times a minute. No, I was really gonna.
So you've not always been so, like with you coping with things in life, like there's not been a lot of traumatic things that have happened, right? So like you've had maybe everyone's like, grandparents maybe pass away when they're a certain age because
Yeah,
their grandparents are
losing my
older. So like
sister and then,
having
like,
losses.
Yeah.
Right. So you have had some losses that are hard, like your uncle, that was hard for you, I know. Other than that, like your parents have been together forever and have a great relationship. So most parents now are divorced, honestly, which is crazy. So with it, all I think is in my head is like you've had like a easy childhood. And I don't want to say easy, but you've had a pretty good childhood. Your parents are still together. You've had a couple losses, some pretty traumatic losses. I understand that, but nothing to the point where it's like up and down, which a lot of people's lives are kind of like that. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but all of a sudden the last like 3 years have been so traumatically hard for you. I think when it's like a kind of easy life, and then all of a sudden this crazy stuff is like bombed on you, and then this shit happens, and you're just like, what the heck?
I'm grateful that things got hard 3 years ago.
Well,
now.
I was just gonna say, like a lot of times when someone has kind of an easy life and then something's thrown on them that is so insanely difficult and dark, like how do you even begin to even try to cope with that?
Yeah.
Because like if you're taught from a young age how to deal with stress or anxiety, which you've never had anxiety before, right? Until like the last couple of years, maybe. How do you all of a sudden shift your thinking or your behavior
to be
into
intentional.
coping with things?
I turned this switch, and it was within the last 3 years, I just decided, I go back to when I made that change where I'm like, okay, I remember my therapist saying, everything in your control, and then do a circle where everything's outside of your control, and
Right.
and it meant nothing to me when she said it to me.
Yeah.
However, after going through a really hard time, I'm like, I'm going to control the things I can control, and I'm going to try to not dwell on things outside of my control. So I started changing what I listened to. Like I didn't really listen to music anymore, and wasn't listening.
Right.
I listened to country sometimes and some
Yeah.
other stuff, but I decided to start listening to positive, inspirational stuff. I started to not watch like horror movies and shit, just positive stuff. Because I didn't like horror movies, for example. I'm like, man, I don't need to turn on a scary movie to be scared. I could just turn on the news or look at social media for 5 minutes, and it's like, I don't need things to scare me. Like life scares me. There's things like I could think about and I could be scared. Like,
Right.
It's just,
And I'm just gonna say something which you should crop out of this, but like look at your life that's happening. That scares you enough without having to turn on things that scare you.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which how many people can really say that too, though?
Yeah. I need to start writing things down because, like, when you're talking, I keep thinking, like,
Yeah.
interesting.
So this is a good thing. Like I want to know, people need help when they're grieving, when they're going through anything, not even just loss, just like anything. How do other people help you? Like I know you call people and talk to them, but like specifically, how do people help you with like maybe thinking different
Just
or
act like they care.
okay, yeah,
Listen, act like they care.
being real, like they actually care instead of just listening
real.
and then trying to talk over you or
Yeah.
being like, oh, you'll be fine,
Yeah.
you're gonna be okay.
There's the flip side of it. There's a lot of people that wouldn't talk to me or felt awkward talking to me because they felt like their issues are no longer valid because of the extreme nature of what we've been through. They feel like what excuse do I have?
Right.
And there's a lot of that.
But it's okay because everyone
Yeah.
can feel how they want to feel and whatever's
Exactly.
too much for someone.
I
right?
almost appreciate people right now when they're complaining to me about things and
Yeah.
and I try to give them good insight, and
Yeah.
it's weird, I had a friend go through something and I told him like, hey dude, like it'll be a blessing,
Right.
just trust it. I think that's really important.
I've always been like this my entire life. When I'm going through anything hard that's really, really hitting me and I'm holding myself together really well, and then someone just looks at me wrong or says something like, "Hey, are you doing okay?" The waterworks start. I cannot hold it in.
Yeah.
When people ask you how you're doing, is it like up and down like that with you, or?
I'm going to not completely answer your question and respond. When people ask me how I'm doing, I generally say good. Because I'm like, in my opinion, I'm doing so incredibly good given the circumstances.
Right.
But when I say I'm doing good, doesn't mean I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I'm
Right.
completely fine. No, like, I'm doing good given the fact I lost 2 of my kids. But what is good? What is good
Right.
is good. Like, I don't know. I thought about this a lot the other day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not good. Like, I'm not good in comparison to a normal person that's going through no adversity, that's completely fine. Like, I have so many hard days, and lately it's been better. And I think acceptance, and we went to a grief share, which was incredible.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that. And Dave
makes you think
Dave Olney
different.
was the one that connected me to the people that run it. Dave was on my podcast. He's the chief of the Boonville Police Department. Shout out to Dave. I'll talk about that real quick. So my first day working for the Boonville Police Department was a detail assisting with the motorcycle ride for Kurt Wyman. He was a United County sheriff who was killed responding to a domestic dispute back in 2011. His wife was in labor, and it was horrible. It was tragic. It rocked the community. And Dave only connected me to his parents. He actually gave me their information like months ago, and I never reached out. And I decided to reach out to them because I was not doing good a few weeks ago. It was pretty recent. And reached out to Kurt's father, and we were talking for a short period of time. And I loved how he handled the conversation on the phone, because he specifically was like he wanted to talk, but he wanted it to be in person. I'm like, yes. Yeah, because people need that more. First, people need to talk more.
Yeah.
People need to talk in person more.
Yeah.
So many people try talking about serious stuff through text messages, and I'm just like, stop.
Yeah, you
know?
can't do that.
But and we went and we had dinner with them, and it was a beautiful thing. And then
Yep. That was
they
so
invited
nice.
us to the grief share the next week. But and the weird thing was, the next night, it was Monday night after we had dinner with them. So this is before we went to the grief share, but the Monday night after we had dinner with them, still wasn't doing good, just bumming. I wrote a message to Crizel, who was also on our podcast, and I just like, hey, I'm not doing good. For whatever reason, I was thinking of her, and she's like, can you come tomorrow to this church? And I'd love to talk to you. I'm like, okay, you know what, I will. Like, crap, it's Veterans Day. I'm like, you know what? Send it. I've been trying to lean into things lately. So we go to this church, sit down with Crizel, and I went by myself, and it just happened to be a meeting about anxiety, depression, and panic disorder, which wasn't something I felt like I really needed. However, like, I got a lot out of just listening. There's like 50 people there.
Awesome.
But she was doing a testimony there, like a 10-minute testimony. That's why she was there. So she wanted to see if I could meet her there so she could talk to me after. She didn't know how long it was going to go. And it ended up being a pretty powerful experience for me. And after it was over, her and I were talking, and she's like, have you ever heard of a grief share before? I'm like, wow, it's funny you say that. I'm like, 2 nights ago, I just went to a couple's house that run a grief share. I'm like, have you ever heard of Kurt Wyman? She's like, yeah, I used to cut his hair. I'm like,
So weird.
I was
so
like,
weird.
wow. His parents do a grief share, and it was incredible. And so we ended up going to that grief share, and Monica and I were there with 2 individuals that lost their wives this year. And
To be honest, I went in there not expecting anything,
I didn't either.
but I knew I loved the people running it already. So I trusted the situation, if you will. And I didn't expect to break down like I did,
Oh, man.
like automatically almost. Like, they were just talking about like how things were going to go, and I was already like crying, and seeing all the different, there weren't a lot of people there, but seeing the different people there, different ages and stuff.
So I noticed the biggest thing I noticed that's different about me now is empathy. I feel other people's pain more now than other, like, their
interesting.
sadness. And
Okay.
the two people that lost their wives, you know, they're
Yeah.
older, and like, I just felt I could feel their pain. And, you know, and for whatever reason, like me feeling their pain and talking to them and, you know, just being nice to them, you know, it did help me.
Yeah.
And, you know,
It makes me want to talk to them now and continue talking to them to hopefully maybe if I could ever help them, but see their growth in their healing.
do you remember when we were in Rome? Not changing the subject completely, but we were in Rome and it was raining out, and I was kind of bumming. I think Bradley was in the car and driving through Rome, and all of a sudden we went by a homeless guy, which you don't generally see in Rome very often, but he's standing in the rain holding this sign, and went by, and like, I'm just looking at this guy and I'm like, oh, the only thing I could think of was like, it could be so much worse. Like,
Yes, but
like, just this guy's out in the rain, in the cold rain. I'm in my, you know, truck warm. Like, it's just a perspective shift for me. Like, how long have we been talking?
for a while, but
It's a little over an hour.
I feel like during the holidays, it's really, really, really hard for people to enjoy anything about the holidays when they have lost someone. And I think it's important to try to, you know, not fix that, but help people enjoy the things that they once enjoyed, even though maybe those people still like are not here.
Yeah.
And focus on the good memories. And I know sometimes it's like so hard because you want those good memories to continue. I strongly believe that whoever is gone from this place, nobody wants anyone here sad and miserable and dwelling on the loss. They want people happy.
Yeah.
And they want people to grow and thrive and continue living their life in a positive way. And
if you know that that person that you lost wouldn't want you to be doing what you're doing in your current situation, whether it's being just broken or going down a bad path, like, if you know they wouldn't want that, like, I would think you'd be that much more inclined to do what they would want you to do. I'd be who they'd want you to be while you were, scared me.
like be who you were when they were here.
Yeah. I mean, within an extent. But,
Right, but I'm saying like if like your kids would not want you to be someone that you weren't and go down a dark path because you weren't that then. Why would you be that now?
Yeah.
It's hard. I know that.
Yeah.
This
You know,
whole-
there's some days, like, something I struggle with is like some days I'm like, you know, I'm going to see them again. Other days I don't want to say I question it, but I can't
I know.
feel that.
I know what you mean.
And I wish I could constantly just have complete 100% faith that, you know what, I got forever. Who cares about this short little, you know, however long we have on this planet? And it's just, you know, I go back and forth, and it's okay and understandable and all that, and I know that, and but that has been something that has been pivotal to making through this, is giving yourself grace. Like, allow yourself to hurt, allow yourself to be broken, allow yourself to feel the feels, and because I am so impatient. Like, I just want to be okay. And like,
yeah, but what is your okay? Because you're going to feel the pain forever. It's just you coping with it.
yeah, and I think it's the whole acceptance thing.
Yeah.
And it's weird, is like, I wonder how much doing those breathing meditations has affected our mindset to be able to navigate this as well. You know, that's that, and you know, in the even going on that Arate's path, you know, like, how did that affect my resilience to be able to navigate this? Because that was one of the most life-changing experiences in my life.
Yeah, but then I didn't ever go on that. And I try to be the strongest rock that I could possibly be for this entire family.
And you have been.
And what?
And you have been.
I try. Like, I know what my faith is. And I truly believe, like, when you say your thoughts on being impatient with healing,
or seeing them again or whatever it may be, like that is so strong within myself.
I know you're always so positive and optimistic, and I wanted to ask you, like, or I wanted to say, there's been so many days, so many mornings that I'm having a hard morning and stuff. You're like, oh, how are you doing today? And I'm just like, I'm looking at my phone. And I'm like, I don't want to tell you I'm sad and broken because you're at work and there's nothing you can do. What do I want to do? Ruin your day more and make you worried about me? And like, I think that was a lot, like kind of recently, just going through a lot. It's really struggling. And, I just like, I worry so much about how you feel being worried about me because I know how you feel about me. So that's hard.
Yeah, but you need to be honest, and it would make me feel better if you're honest with me. And even if you're having more broken mornings than you want to admit, then you give me the opportunity to help you.
Yeah.
And to help your grieving process instead of pushing it aside. Because when we push it aside, it's not helping it. It's sweeping it under the rug. So if I can't help you and you're making me think that you're good all these mornings, I'm like, all right, he's doing pretty good when you're really not. And then I can't help you.
Yeah.
Or I'm saying the wrong things, or the things that I'm saying aren't mattering to you because it's not the real thing that's going on within yourself, So I think everyone just being honest with how they're feeling, good and bad.
Oh, that was a talking point this I put on here. It's crazy the trivial things that used to annoy me.
Yeah.
Like traffic or like being stuck behind slow drivers. Now today, this morning on the way to drop Brad off, I was behind somebody doing 45 and a 55.
Yeah.
And I never was a person just slamming my hand on the steering wheel, swearing, but I would be annoyed and like, or I'd generally pass them whenever possible. And I don't even care. I'm like, you know what? When I'm meant to get there, I'm going to get there. And like it goes back to the acceptance. That is so, so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's just because I think when you realize what really, really, truly matters and you're looking around at this world and everything every day, you're like, life is not that serious.
It's really not.
It's not. And it's a crazy thing to say. It's just everything you think that's so bad that you're going through. And
I know.
Like, it's just.
Well, it's the thing that you say about like being stuck behind a slow person driving, something as small as that. Like I think about stuff like that all the time and I'm like, all right, what is the meaning behind this? Why am I stuck behind this truck that's going 25 and a 55? What the heck? I'm like, all right, maybe it's slowing me down for something.
Yeah. And tangent, I wanted to talk about this earlier. Tuesday night before the accident, it's just this completely random, completely off topic, but I just want to talk about it because it's kind of it's one of the best memories I have. Tyler was grounded because of some attitude, and actually Natasha came over to our house which was unheard of, but things were going so good. She came over and we sat under the pavilion and we were talking to Tyler about his attitude or whatever, and it was nothing like super, super serious. It's just 16-year-old being a little lippy. So it's the first time he's been grounded like from his phone for like a year. So what do? We decide to walk down to the water to go swimming in the lake, Bradley, him and I. And it was nice. It was an awesome, nice, casual walk down there. We didn't run like we normally would do. And just hung out and like no distractions.
Yeah, right.
And we get down to the water and we're swimming with Bradley, and Bradley's friend ended up meeting us down there. And it was just like, it was one of the most beautiful nights of my entire life, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And it's like that saying, I wish I knew the good old days were the good old days before I left them.
Yeah.
Like, I've done a pretty good job of being appreciative of the the times that I've had and stuff, but man, there's something to that's just so freaking important.
I agree. And I think when people that are kind of like our age are like, oh, the good old days, it's like when we were younger, riding our bikes and stuff, but like the good old days, we're making them now also. Yeah. So in the future, these will all be the good old days. So it's being present and grateful. That really makes you realize that you're in the good old days right now.
Remember when we had that family trip to, it was the last family trip we had, the 7 of us, and we went up to 1,000 Islands, and we went
Yes.
hiking the Adirondacks, and we did 2 high
Yes.
peaks with all the kids.
Oh my
So on the
gosh,
way up, we were going to go to Bolt Castle to ride the ferry there and tour Bolt Castle, and
Yeah.
the rain, it started storming so bad, it took out a power line that went across a major highway, and it rerouted us like over half an hour to get to where we needed to go, which was, it was closed by the time we would have got there, and we were so bumming. So we ended up going to Wellesley Island State Park, and in the rain we went hiking. Like, doesn't sound like it'd be a good time, but like, we look at pictures now and you go back to those memories, I'm like, that was
I would do
such
it all over again
a
in a
good
heartbeat.
freaking day.
Yeah.
It was like, it was meant to be. And I would have rather have done that hike that we did any day over going to Bolt Castle. Granted, that would have been cool too. But, and I remember
That was
hiking
meant to be. We were supposed to be together there doing that. And
Porter and Cascade with all the kids. And they all had a good time. Like, there was like no complaining. Like 5 kids hiking a mountain.
we're like, you guys, you didn't complain one time. What's happening? What's wrong with you? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I could just talk about memories all day long, but.
Yeah. Well, we'll do another episode about stuff too.
Oh yeah, we actually have we recorded with Ryan Woodruff so back in May, and that podcast episode comes out tomorrow on Thanksgiving. I don't know when this podcast episode will get out. I could get this edited literally tonight with a new program. So we'll keep going, and we have life-changing opportunity like with this podcast. There's so much opportunity and positivity that can come out of this. We just need to not slow down, which we've slowed down, but
Obviously, I don't think anyone really blames us, but I don't want this episode to feel like it's all like dark and dreary. Of course, it's going to be really emotional and stuff like that, and heartfelt. But I really look forward to doing more. Just one-on-one episodes together, talking about life stuff, because that's what people need. I feel like normal day-to-day living, I guess, if you will. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to talk more about like just like the little memories that were difficult and stuff like that, but maybe it's, I don't know.
This is pretty long right now.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But
and I think our puppies need to go
outside.
Yeah. I mean, I need to go.
Okay. Well, we appreciate everybody for your support, and
Absolutely.
please, if you can, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. That does help, and hopefully it
And
helps
comment
somebody.
though, like if there's anything you want us to touch upon and talk about, like we're so open books that like ask us anything and we'll do our best to help or answer any questions or anything.
Yep. Well, everybody have a good night. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Please be safe.
Take care.